Hey guys, welcome back to Daddy Share Space. I recently released a video showing part of my office setup. I wanted to give some information on how I had my office set up originally because I want to change it up. I had a tub full of old shelf brackets and I wanted to put them to use in the office so I can arrange my equipment for functional use. Currently, I don't use many things because they are not stored in an easily accessible manner, and with this update, I'm hoping to change that. Welcome back to my garage shop. Here, I'm cutting off the factory edge of this piece of 18mm sheet of plywood. I'm using my FlexFold track saw for this task. In this video, I plan to use 3 of my 5 track saws in the process to show how they can be utilized with projects. In this clip, I'm using my Festool cordless KEBI track saw in conjunction with the Festool FS WA angle stop to square off one edge of this 18mm piece of plywood. I'm going to be using my Makita 118-inch rail for this next cut. I'm also going to set up my TSO parallel guide to help get me a parallel cut for this next section. I'm using my tape measure to mark out the depth for each shelf, and then I'll line up my rail with those marks and then set the parallel guide accordingly so that I can get those repeatable cuts. So initially I measure, mark, and then actually apply the parallel guide right where I want it to cut. Once I set it, I can forget it. Once I place the parallel guide, it's my practice to always check that measurement from the back of the rail and sometimes even from the cut line. And I do that with the tape measure just to make sure that I'm getting consistent reference and a parallel cut. In the future, I plan on getting a woodpecker story stick to help me with layout. That way I can get consistent results all the time and I can remove the potential error of using a tape measure. I will use my Makita 36-volt cordless track saw to cut all the shelves to the appropriate depth. After I cut out the first shelf, it's just rinse and repeat. I just move the parallel guide up on the workpiece and make the next cut, and I just continue that process until I get all the pieces that I need. Sometimes I could be a little overzealous with making sure that the parallel guide is in the same location and I'm getting the same depth on all the shelves. It hasn't failed me yet, but this is where a story stick would really help out because I could just butt it up and I know I'm right where I need to be. So I didn't purchase any extra plywood for this project, so I'm using what I have, and this leftover is determining the size of the depth of the smaller shelves. The TSO parallel guide system comes in multiple lengths. You've got a 20-inch, a 30-inch, and a 50-inch set. Here I'm switching over to the 20-inch because the 30 is a little long for what I need. In the future, I plan on purchasing hardware for each of the segments of the TSO system. I like the fact that you can switch it over. However, I prefer to have each segment, the 20-inch, the 30-inch, and the 50-inch, already configured and set up with the stops and the connector pieces so that I don't have to do what you see me doing here with each change of length. I'm gonna need a little bit more plywood for this project, so here I'm just putting another piece up on my cutting station. So now I'm just starting the process over again, and then I'll progress just as before through all the stages that you've already seen. So now I'm going to use my benchdogs.co.uk fence in conjunction with the quad hinge system and my Festool cordless KEBI track saw to do my cross cuts to cut all my shelves to proper length. I'm using a total of 3 different stops on this fence to set all 3 shelf lengths because I have 3 different lengths to cut. Using the 3 different stops makes this process more efficient as I can batch out each length with little effort after setting them up. As you can see, I already put up the shelf brackets. So now I'm just going to go ahead and install the shelves themselves.